It's Christmas, New Year's Eve, and I thought I should continue my book of quotes. Now I am at the chapter where it's like how you're choosing your path through life. There's a lot of quotes in here that I haven't read, so I just want to read it to this video that I'm making so I can just learn from it. Everybody likes to get my idea. Anyways, let's get this started. There are lots of ways of being miserable, but there's only one way of being comfortable, and that is to stop running around after happiness. If you make up your mind not to be happy, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a fairly good time at this work time. One of the most adventurous things life left us is to go to bed, for no one can lay a hand on our dreams. E.V. Lucas. Life is a great big canvas, thrown all the paint you can add it. Danny Kaye. The most pathetic person in the world is someone who has sight but no vision. Helen Keller. Have we been at this chapter before, man? Let's read some other stuff. If you want to know what God thinks of money, just look at people who gave it to. That woman speaks 18 languages and can't say no in any of them. This is not a novel to be tossed aside lightly. It should be thrown with great force. The only ism Hollywood believes in is plagiarism. Women and elephants never forget. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Razors pain you, rivers are damp, acid stains you, and drugs cause cramps. Guns aren't lawful, nooses give gas smells awful, you might as well live. Reading without reflection is like eating without digesting. Edmund Burke. Books think for me. Charles Lamb. An intellectual is a man who takes more words than necessary to tell more than he knows. Wayne D. Eisenhower. An intellectual is a person who has discovered something more interesting than sex. Aldous Huxley. Hold a book in your hand and you're a pilgrim at the gates of a new city. Annie Michaels. Let me find some better music. This music is like too racketing. I need like more relaxing music. The book wasn't really relaxing to me.
Oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Beta-glucan doesn't like cholesterol. It helps lower cholesterol by trapping some of the bad cholesterol. Quaker oats are low in saturated and trans fats and are a delicious part of a heart-healthy diet. High five, fiber.
Well, that sounds relaxing. Reading is like the sex act done privately and often in bed. Daniel J. Borstein. All good books have one thing in common. They are truer than if they had really happened. Ernest Hemingway. The test of literature is, I suppose, whether we ourselves live more intensely for the reading of it. Elizabeth Drew. Never judge a book by its movie. J.W. Egan. Having your book turn into a movie is like seeing your oxen turn into Boolean cubes. John Lee Kerr. Lists of books we reread and books we can't finish tell more about us than about the relative worth of the books themselves. Russell Bank. I read part of it all the way through. Samuel Goodwin. Books are like lobster shells. We surround ourselves with them, then we grow out of them and leave them behind as evidence of our early stages of development. Dorothy L. Sayers. A book is a version of the world. If you do not like it, ignore it, or often your own version in return. Salman Rushdie. A book is not only a friend, it makes friends for you. When you have possessed a book with mind and spirit, you are enriched. But when you pass it on, you are enriched threefold. Henry Miller. Books are not made for furniture, but there is nothing else that is so beautifully furnishes a house. Henry Ward Beecher. Don't join the book burners. Don't think you're going to conceal faults by concealing evidence that they exist. Don't be afraid to go in your library and read every book. Dwight D. Eisenhower. He who kills a man kills a reasonable creature, but he who destroys a good book kills reason itself. John Milton. In relation to a writer, most readers believe in the double standard. They may be unfaithful to him as often as they like, but he must never be unfaithful to them. W.H. Auden. If you don't have the time to read, you don't have the time or the tools to write. Stephen King. This is the 6th book I've written, which isn't bad for a guy who only read 2. George Burns. There are 3 rules for writing a novel. Unfortunately, no one knows what they are. W. Somerset Maugham. In case of good books, the point is not to see how many of them you can get through, but how many can get through to you. Mortimer J. Adler. My stories run up and bite me on the leg. I respond by writing down everything that goes on during the bite. When I finish the idea, let's go and runs off. Ray Bradbury. Write something to suit yourself and many people will like it. Write something to suit everybody and secretly and anyone will care for it. Jesse Stewart. Some editors are failed writers, but so are most writers. T.S. Eliot. A good many young writers make the mistake of enclosing a stamped self-addressed envelope big enough for the manuscript to come back in. This is too much of a temptation to the editor. Ring Lardner. Journal writing is a voyage to the interior. Christina Baldwin. Vigorous writing is concise. William Struck Jr. There's great power in words if you don't hitch too many of them together. Josh Billings. Simply stated, it is sagacious to eschew obfuscation. Norman A. Augustine. Pithy sentences are like sharp nails which force truth upon our memory. Dennis Diderot. I consider looseness with words no less of the defect than looseness of the bowels. John Calvin. When something can be read without effort, great effort has gone into its writing. Enrique Jardiel Ponsala. An intellectual is a man who says a simple thing in a difficult way. An artist is a man who says a difficult thing in a simple way. Charles Bukowski. Grammar is a piano I play by ear. All I know about grammar is its power. Joanne Didion. You can be a little ungrammatical if you come from the right part of the country. Robert Frost. Remember, y'all is singular. All y'all is plural. All y'all is plural positive. Possessive. Kinky Friedman. When you catch an adjective, kill it. No, I don't mean utterly, but kill most of them. Then the rest will be valuable. They weaken when they are close together. They give strength when they are wide apart. Mark Twain. The adjective to the banana peel of the parts of speech. Clifford Fadiman. From now on, ending a sentence with a preposition is something up with which I will not put. Winston Churchill. A synonym is a word you use when you can't spell the word you first thought of. Birch Bacharach. What's another word for thesaurus? Stephen Wright. Let's get into some worry and fear comments on quotes. Never play cards with a man called Dope. Never eat at a place called Mom's, and never sleep with a woman whose troubles are worse than your own. Nelson Algren. If you can't sleep, then get up and do something instead of laying there and worrying. It's the worry that gets you, not the loss of sleep. Dale Carnegie. Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It's only saps today of its joy. Leo Buscaglia. Pessimists are not boring. Pessimists are right pessimists and superfluous. Elias Canetti. If I knew what I was so anxious about, I wouldn't be so anxious. Mignon McLaughlin. Indecision may or not be my problem. Jimmy Buffett. 92% of the stuff told you in confidence you couldn't get anyone else to listen to. Franklin P. Adams. Anxiety is love's greatest killer. It makes others feel as you might when drowning. A man holds onto you. You want to save him, but you know he will strangle you with his panic. Anais Nin. It takes a real storm in the average person's life to make him realize how much worrying he has done over the squalls. It makes no sense to worry about things you have no control over because there's nothing you can do about them. And why worry about things you do not control? The activity of worrying keeps you immobilized. Wayne Dyer. Nowadays, men lead lives of noisy desperation. James Thurber. As a cure for worrying, work is better than whiskey. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The reason why worry kills more people than work is that people worry than work. Robert Frost. What worries you masters you. Haddon W. Robinson. A ruffled mind makes you restless pillow. Charlotte Bronte. Little things affect little minds. Benjamin Disraeli. You probably wouldn't worry about what people think of you if you could know how seldom they do. Arlen Miller. Most people would rather be certain they're miserable than risk being happy. Robert Anthony. A cynic is not merely one who reads bitter lessons from the past. He is one who is prematurely disappointed in the future. Sidney J. Harris. A frightened captain makes a frightened crew. Lister Sinclair. People are never more insecure than when they become obsessed with their fears at the expense of their dreams. Norman Cousins. And that's the end of today's novel.